First full sketchbook flip through. This is my 2025 sketchbook. It's the Talon's art creation, and I love this sketchbook. It took me a really long time to finish. I started, I think, early January. I forgot to put the actual start date, but yeah, let's dive in. The first page, this was based off of a dream I had. I have a lot of dreams about teeth, and so there was this like massive tooth. It was like an alien world. It was this massive tooth, and there were all of these like cavities in it, and then one of them there was like another tooth inside of it, and it kept going in. And so I just really love this visual. This is a little lower mandible of a rodent, I believe. This is not clean and sanitary, so I don't open this. But I've had it for a couple years. I was like, oh, I might as well draw this thing. And then this is a blood clot. I was trying out, where is it? My new, well, it's not new anymore, but this Winsor & Newton travel paint set watercolors. And they're not that vibrant. This was a tree outside of one of my old jobs, and I wanted to draw a tree in kind of a pogo style almost. Maybe this is kind of crazy cat, but I think I was trying to do pogo. These were some buildings I could see from my old apartment, and I just never finished it. Whatever. This was a comic. The last page was bad, but it starts with a dream and waking up and feeling nauseous, and then finding a hair in my toothbrush was just so disgusting. I was like, this is a terrible day. I just kept having these terrible omens, and my anxiety was making me physically sick. And I was like, ugh, my psychic powers. And then the thing about feeling that way is like, it's a delayed payoff. And then a week later, I found out why. Is because this guy I have history with transferred into one of my classes, and I was miserable. These were some fabric studies based off of Pinterest images. I was really in love with my brush pen at this time. Hold on, let me get my kit. Okay, sorry, that was overwhelming. This is the brush pen I use. It has been loved to shit. Oops. Amazing. Love it. Definitely a favorite. I've had this for 3 years now. So yeah, definitely a fave. This was a watercolor kind of concept for a project, and obviously it looks like nothing, but my professor was like, I love this, it's so evocative, and I was like, whatever, but I get it now. This was kind of a comic, kind of making fun of myself for never finishing anything, and I'm just like talking about how futile everything is through this comic, and then he like fades into nothing and I never finish it. This was a crayon drawing. These are like watercolor crayons. This was a woman I had a serious crush on for many years, and she was working on a comic, and I was just drawing her. It ended badly. These were some concept ideas for another project, and this was like an anatomical study. I think it's like a photo taken from the interior of a heart, because I want to do more scientific illustration if I can. Hello. getting notifications. This was in my life studies class. This pose just went on for so long. I think there's another one on this page. And some like scorpions and skulls. Some of my plants. Same pose. Some bugs and birds. Again, just loving my brush pen. Oh, I remember this day. I went to this artist talk, and some people that I have history with in a bad way showed up. So I was so stressed out. I was like, I'm just gonna draw. And I really like this. And these like bird claws, and just random skulls, and a Grim Reaper playing Scrabble against the Grim Reaper. Then some like shared Armenian and Palestinian symbols, coffee cups. That's like one of my symbols. I feel like I've got 2 cups on me currently. Yeah, just I love this inky black. I finished playing Disco Elysium, so I had to draw the Insulindian Phasmid. On my first playthrough, I told her she's the kindest creature I've ever met. Yeah, this game just really touched me. Some birds fighting. This was for another piece. This model was such a freak. But we were like, can you do some poses like animals? Because we were drawing animals and humans. And so this was a tiger, I think. And I actually liked this pose a lot. Oh, this is the one I liked. I loved this one. I think I was like trying to get some tiger stripes with his shadows here. Just a very intense guy. And this pose, I was like, what the hell is he trying to be? So I made him like a moth. Same guy, using the ink wash to make little antennae. I liked this pose, but it was so long, so I went to the next page, and I was working way too wet. And so this looks phallic. This is his stomach, but it just, the way that the wet ink blended makes it look almost phallic. Down here is where that part was. Some coffee wash doodles I never finished, but I think this brown hyena cub is one of the cutest things I've ever drawn. Hyenas are like my animal. I think they're so amazing. This is the view from the rooftop of my last apartment. So I just go up there and draw. There's like construction going on. So it's like pretty unfinished, but I really like how I added in these other buildings further away. But yeah, I don't know. I started working on perspective more later. And then I went to my grandparents' house, and I got these pen nibs, and these were my great-grandmother's, I believe. I also love this little container. Oh my god, great. So I got really into pen nibs and dip pens, and I was like, oh god, my new toy is overshadowing my favorite brush pen. So this was, I think, the first page I really tried drawing something with them, getting the feel of it. More life studies. We had 2 models this day, and we'd worked with her before, and this guy, there was lore around campus. He was like banned from modeling for a while. I loved this page. This was the first time I was like, oh, I can get really interesting 2-page spreads in this book. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I should have been more mindful and intentional with the swirls, the squiggles, but I think overall it's a great page. That same model, I totally omitted the guy, and I love this pose. I was like, she looks like a corpse washed up on a beach, so I wanted to have like, this was going to be some like driftwood, and these are supposed to be waves. thumbnailing ideas for projects, whatever. More thumbnailing. Some of this was fun, but a lot of it was just like, oh, I need to increase my count, I guess. I don't know. Playing with my watercolors again. We were learning about underpainting with watercolor, so I was trying to kind of understand flesh tones that way. I really loved this purple and orange combo, so I was using a lot of secondary colors. I think that was really fun, actually. I want to go back to like a orange, purple, and green palette. Again, really feeling purples and green and oranges and yellows. More ideas for projects, whatever. This was one of our favorite models. They were basically like part of the class by the end of the year. Just absolutely stunning to work with. And so I requested a pose that was kind of like wrestling because I wanted to do kind of a fight scene. And they did this, and I was like, what? How is this wrestling? But I ended up loving this pose. Just the contortion and like this expressive, like cradling their head was really nice. Yeah, we were supposed to do like a series of them climbing onto the platform that the models stand on, and I didn't plan my space out correctly, so it got out of order. And then I went back in later, like a couple weeks later, with this blue ink my friend gave me. It's so gorgeous. Bringing that pose back. Actually, not only is it this pose, but it's also this scene, trying to drown yourself. Kind of reflecting on some of my life experiences. And this was a plant at my last job, and I didn't use a pen, I just used the ink dropper from the ink. So I got these like really cool shapes and splatters, and then down here I was just testing different ink washes to get a good tone. A hyena, my favorite animal. This is a striped hyena. This was the last drawing I did before graduating. And then this was my first drawing I did after graduating. My roommate got me this brown ink. It's really gorgeous, but I really fucking hate that guy. And there's a lot of history there, but whatever. And it's kind of a whatever page. This is Tamino, he's an artist. This is a Pinterest photo that I was using for a haircut reference. This is a woman I saw. And these were just kind of like cartoon people from my imagination. And I just love this character so much. She's like hitting a vape, and I don't remember what she's holding here, but I just love this character so much. It made me laugh. I also love this guy. He's like, I'm ready to duke it out with this big, strong jort guy. It just made me laugh. These are some of my houseplants. That was like how I stayed sane after graduating. Because I didn't have a job lined up. Another building I could see from my rooftop. Tree at the park. I thought it was so bizarre. And then this is that same blue ink. It's just a really stunning color. Some satellite dishes, thinking about communication, a little bit thinking about my comic. And then this was a scene from a dream. In that dream, there were like 3 different arcs, and they all took place in the same setting, but it was like different color schemes. It was really intense. This was at the gay beach, so I just drew with black while I was at the beach, and then I went in again with that ink, because the pot was broken at the lid, so I was like, oh, I really gotta use this up. Katie and Anathema. We'll be seeing more of them, but I just wanted to kind of draw their dynamic. I love this. I have got to kill and eat her. Playing with watercolors. This is such a throwaway page. This is my character Soul. He was originally a Warrior Cats character, and so I kind of wanted to play with that. I was kind of thinking about some character backstory potential, but I actually don't like this as a backstory. I think this could be like a future for him. I never finished it, but I really liked just the like spirit of adventure here. It's like on a boat, a whaling ship. And whaling in my comic universe is not like hunting whale, it's like protecting them. And so it's like pirates that like attack people that try to hunt whales and fish, and instead they like study them and make sure that these whale pods are doing well. Kind of travel the seas with them. This was a comic. I was getting really into dreaming. Still am. I had very bad dreams last night. This was another view from my rooftop at my last apartment. Another, I was just so miserable at that apartment. I really hated my roommate. He drove out the woman I'd lived with for the last 2-3 years, and he drove me out. So the last few months I was there, I was really, really sad. I would just go on the roof to avoid him. And then this is a little Noel character I wanted to play. I was like, I want to play a tabletop RPG, because I never have, but I've always wanted to. And I was like, I want to play as a little Noel character. And then I found out that they're not playable characters in D&D. Like, I could homebrew, I guess. But my friend said I should try Pathfinder, because I could play as a Noel. I just think it's so cute. This is that ink again. Really trying to use it up. So this is when I was like, I'm gonna use that ink, and then I went back to the previous pages. This is like a city. It's hard to tell. This is an aardwolf. This is a cityscape. This is some kind of beetle, bird question mark. I don't know. This page scares me because that hand is bigger than mine. But I liked these little like gummy fungi, amoeba things. So I started drawing a little gardener guy, but whatever. I never finished this page. Oh my god. Oh my god. This was my last night in my previous apartment. And then I had very insecure housing for a while. So this was at a park. And it was beautiful, and the people were out, and I loved it. But this was a really, really dark time for me, actually. These like idyllic scenes at the park were my escape from my reality. And this was me feeling that darkness. I guess I didn't have that much time to draw at that time. And then this was when I got my current apartment, and I set up all my plants in the window. I had my first cup of coffee, and I was feeling very hopeful. I was feeling so hopeful. This is a telephone pole and a freaky apartment complex being constructed. This place scares me so much. I don't know why. And while it was under construction, I guess they were painting it because all of the doors and windows were open. And I was like, oh, I could set up a squat here. Like, there's so many unhoused neighbors where I live, and just insane wealth inequality, and it's really difficult living in this area. I was like, we could provide housing for so many people. It's just sitting here empty. It's been empty for the 4 months I've been living here. It just makes me sick. This was a comic about Sadie the Tick. Hold on, I'm gonna change the lighting. Does this look better or worse? I guess it doesn't matter. This is just the story of, I tracked in a tick from my adventures, and she never bit me. She was like flat as fuck. And I didn't know what she was. Like, doodle search. 8 legs, flat, brownish, red thing, bug. and then identifying her. I named her Sadie, and I thought she was cute. And I think this page shows the cuteness of this animal. Kind of a sicko. This was, I left blank because I wanted to continue it. This is the laundromat. More of the laundromat. It's a great place to draw. Complicated transgender feelings about doing laundry when I have some girl chonies that I just haven't replaced. It's kind of awkward. And then weird feelings about my apartment, and then I censored this because I felt bad. These were some like daily comics. I like saw some some neighbors fucking in their window. And I was laughing. I was like, are they porking up there? That's so funny, blah, blah. And then my stuffed hyena Ace is like my conscious. She's like, you should stop staring now. This is how people become peepers. Plus they're cucking you. I was like, I'm no peeper, I swear. This is about the job search and feeling mentally ill and hopeless. So we'll skip over that. My friend's cats, because I went to her house after a kind of intense experience she went through, but it was just such a funny situation. She had this Pepe doll that was ratatouilleing her while she was cooking, and it made her make mistakes while she was cooking. We were like, take Pepe off, take Pepe off. More, this one, I don't know what I was getting at. This is the showstopper. This is the stunner. I got this really long, intense, insane text from that group of people I referenced earlier, that there's a lot of bad history, and so it says, who's got time for all of that? Well, apparently me, because I transcribed the whole message, and actually not the whole message. What's it called? Abridged it. This is the abridged version of this insane text. Just nonsense. And, you know, it was really upsetting, like, having to rehash all of this stuff 10 months after the fact. I was like, I would have been receptive to this if it happened 10 months ago. But the last line, she's like, let me know what time to talk if you're free. And just because of the way that the spacing worked out, the last line is you are free. And that was unintentional, but that's exactly like what's the situation is. Like, I'm free of this. This is the last time they get my attention. And so I went to my friend's party, and they were there, and it was really awkward, and I just did not know the vibe, and yeah, it was just strange. Oh, all of this was also my training arc for Inktober. That's why they're like way more interesting than the rest of the book, and I love this page. It's a little bit sad though. There's like syringes and stuff hidden like under the bush, under this telephone pole. I love this. Some construction workers washing their hands after work. I was like, that's so cute. I don't know. I love humans. Inktober. I'm not gonna go too much into it. If you want to hear about it, check out my other video. How's about that? How's about you check out my other video if you want to hear more Acadian Anathema? But yeah, this was a really fun challenge. I did definitely burn myself out working on it, because I'd never done anything like that. My sister, I saw her over the holidays, and she told me that like even my brief description of my characters really resonated with her, so that's really exciting and motivating and inspiring for me to keep working on my comic. because it's already resonated with someone. I can't get over how good this drawing is. I'm so proud of this one. Okay. Another thing about this comic that I forgot to mention in my Inktober video is, while I was working on it, I was like, I don't want to look up references. I don't want to be on my computer. I don't want to, like, have to keep my phone alive to look at reference images or whatever. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck a motorcycle looks like. Luckily, I have the Akira collection, so I just popped that open and referenced Otomo's motorcycles, and that also helped me like simplify the shapes down, so that was really nice. That was really fun. This is why we need physical media, people. So that was the end of Inktober. And after that, I was like, I need a little bit of color. So I just did some blue and purple. I don't know. That's Lita. That's a hyena. Some shape forms. Some abstract forms. A little cat scene. Going back kind of to my like secondary colors palette. I don't know. Think about fall. Very fall colors, but it's a drab scene. I like this cat. Maybe I'll turn it into a warrior cat scene. Oh, this is a coffee shop near my apartment. I should have inked this. But I love this. I really like how I like filled the scene. Obviously, it's just observational drawing, but filling the page like that is just very satisfying. It's a good hack. Some more Pinterest studies. These were like cityscapes. I wanted to practice perspective and buildings. This is me thinking about the city. Oh my god. My insecurities. Oh, this was at a party I went to. It was a going away party for a friend. I didn't draw the whole thing, but it was so fun because everyone there was an artist. So, like, this person was working on their finals, animating, and we were all just hanging out, being artsy. And then we went on to play Jackbox games together. It was so fun. It was so fun. Me really trying to finish this sketchbook. It's all bunk. You have got to start responding to texts. I'm sorry, I know. Your pen is whack. Penis whack. Inkman? The Kid Ink? Inky. I don't know. This was supposed to be like a scene from the city in my comic. I don't fucking know. I just wanted to fill page. Fill page, finish book, feel good. Life lessons. And that's it. Oh, that's one thing about this sketchbook. I love this sketchbook. I think it's the perfect size. I think the pages hold ink really well. They don't hold watercolor so well. It gets kind of muted and dull because it's not white. It's kind of off-white. And it doesn't have a pocket in the back. Oh. Gotta put these in my new sketchbook. Now your rights cards. Carry them on you. Put them in your wallet. Put them in your sketchbook. If you have a pocket notebook, put them in that. Pass them out to people. I've passed them out to people. It's amazing. Print them out. Pass them out. And yeah, that is my 2025 sketchbook. It took me so long. In the time it took me to fill this, I filled 2 pocket notebooks. And that was pretty slow for me because this one was mostly apartment hunt bullshit and not so much art. So that was upsetting. That hurt my heart. My heart was hurt in this one, but you know, I think art is straight up the only thing that kept me sane this year. And I really am so proud of this sketchbook. It's such a diversion from how I typically use sketchbooks. I feel like usually they're really messy and I don't finish my drawings. I think that was my goal for this year, was to learn how to finish a drawing. Or make it seem like it's finished, you know? Like this, oh, it's imagine if it didn't have these washes added. It would have just been that. And it would have been interesting and cool, sure, but even just this nonsense bullshit. This one too. These 3 separate drawings. And I just added an ink wash to the back, and suddenly I have this more coherent page. So learning tricks like that was good. But yeah, I'm done. The year's over. It was a shit year. Worst year of my life. Worst year of my fucking life. But probably the best year for art. Definitely going somewhere. And I'm really excited for what 2026 has in store for me. The karmic wheel will turn eventually in my favor, and then against me again, and then back in my favor. Suffering never killed nobody. Thanks for tuning in. I would love to hear your thoughts, and keep drawing. I hope you were drawing while this was playing. If not, consider it next time. Consider drawing. Consider it. Consider making art. How about that? Bye-bye.